Well, more and more information is coming out on how the winter storm impacted cattle markets. So Derrell, let's start with cattle producers. How were cattle producers affected?
Well, I think the brunt of this storm impacts probably fall on individual producers and their operations. Obviously, they put in a lot of time and effort to, provide extra feed and water access for cattle. But there's an actual direct cost, additional supplemental feed required in many cases, and particularly for those cow-calf producers that were already into calving season, a lot of extra challenges here to protect those newborn calves in this kind of weather and make sure they get dried off and up and going in the midst of this kind of unprecedented cold weather.
So, shifting to the markets, how did the markets react to that?
Well, in terms of local auctions, there were a number of closures just because of the weather impacts. So that really changes the timing of what would have normally flowed through those markets. And that could be important here for a couple of 3 weeks because we're getting close to the time when we're normally starting to pull cattle off of wheat pasture with a little bit of seasonal increase anyway. So we may see some, ripple effects here for a few weeks till we get kind of the flows of feeder cattle back a little bit more normal.
So in regards to like feedlots and packing plants, were there any interruptions there as well?
Cold weather events always impact feedlots in terms of cattle performance. Cattle don't gain weight for a period of time in there, actually may lose weight. It was made worse in this particular case because there were disruptions in power and natural gas and water in some cases where feedlots didn't have the ability to run their feed mills, or they had to change rations and formulate feed in a different way. Any kind of change like that on top of the weather events causes additional stress on those cattle. And so we'll see some lost performance there, some extra cost obviously for those producers. Packing plants were also impacted by the power disruptions and energy disruptions through this storm. So in some cases they had reduced shifts or had to cancel a couple of shifts. They had issues in some cases because of the snow with workers being able to actually get to the plants. So there were some limited disruptions across a number of different plants, particularly in the southern plains.
Will any of those residual effects affect consumers at all?
I really don't think we'll see much impact that we can detect at the consumer level in terms of higher retail prices for beef. There may be some wholesale market impacts, although we've had very strong wholesale demand in any event, and so I think it'll even be hard to detect there. Again, this industry, even with those limited disruptions, now there could be some very localized disruptions that are a little more pronounced, but they're very, very minimal and very localized. I think in the broader market, we probably won't be able to detect much impact on the consumer level.
And now we just got to hope Mother Nature doesn't throw any more curveballs at us.
That's right. We've had enough for a while.
All right. Thanks, Derrell. Dr. Derrell Peel, Livestock Marketing Specialist here at Oklahoma State University.